welcome all my honored guests to the ultimate duel with the best of the best. At my invitation, you've come to compete for the honor of suffering the final defeat.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. There comes a time in every format where one must throw caution to the wind. You must give up on making sense in playing meta and become Joker-fied. Today we're sending in the clowns. Presenting Clown Crew.
Send in the clowns.
So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Despite what some Yu-Gi-Tubers who shall not be named would have you believe, the TCG is alive and well. And if you're looking to start your journey into paper, there's no better place to begin than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. With up-to-the-minute reporting on every major tournament worldwide, searchable and interactable pie charts and deck lists, and all the bells and whistles you've come to expect from one of the best draft and collection management sites on the net, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the place to be. Check it out today at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's see if we can't crack Clown Crew. Clown Crew is a very strange deck of Jesterian abominations that seeks to do exactly one thing: perform a tribute summon that pluses you to infinity. A few of their cards, Soiree and Malar Bisma chief among them, allow you to summon their on-theme monsters from your deck or extra, after which you can tribute them to get powerful when tributed effects. The end result is a deck that sends the entire board of the graveyard to summon Bianca Viso, drawing 8 cards and filling up the back row in the process. And that's all there is to say about the deck. Yeah, listen, this is more Benzini Brothers than Barnum. The deck's got one main attraction. As a result, this deck tries to leverage its draw 8 into powerful non-engine hand traps, which would be good if the best deck wasn't so adept at playing through them. Maybe that's why, for many duelists, they've chosen to turn their Clown Prince to crime, slapping in copies of Vanity's Fiend and Vanity's Ruler alongside all manner of tribute summon floodgates. We're not going to play those because doing so feels superfluous. Just rotate a KT player staring down a Majesty's Fiend in your mind. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, 3 copies of Clown Crew Bianca Viso. It can be tributed by tributing a Ritual Fusion, Synchro Xyz, Pendulum, or Link monster, but you don't have to. If this card is tribute summoned, you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters tributed for the summon, or negate effects of face-up cards your opponent controls equal to the number of monsters tributed for its tribute summon. Then once per turn during your opponent's main phase, you can tribute summon a monster. After that, we've got 3 copies of Clown Clan Flare, which can be ritual summoned with a Clown Crew card. You can reveal this card in your hand to add a non-ritual Clown Crew card from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. That's once per turn, and if tributed, you can either shuffle all ritual monsters into the field and graveyard into the deck, or change an effect monster on the field to face down defense position. All the Clown Crew people have that effect, something that pluses when tributed or interacts with the board state in some way, alongside the ability to shuffle every super type that they belong to back into the deck. It's your win con against a lot of strategies that go all the way in on one summoning mechanic. After that, we've got some new Vels. It turns out Poissonnier is a really good starter for this strategy, and as a result, we are playing her alongside 3 copies of Concorde Cuisine, and of course the associated Garnet in Pâtissier Couverture. We're playing 3 copies of Clown Clan Rehearsal, 3 copies of Clown Clan Malar Bisma, which allows you to special summon 2 Clown Crew monsters from your deck or extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions, and you are locked from effects from the deck or extra deck until the end of the turn after this card resolves. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it and tribute a monster from your hand or field to target a card on the field and return it to the hand. 1 copy of Clown Clan Soiree, which allows you to, just like last time, use each effect once per turn. Special summon up to 2 Clown Crew monsters from your deck or extra deck, or add a Clown Crew from your deck to your hand, here Bianca Viso. Then during the main phase, banish this from your graveyard to tribute summon a Clown Crew monster face up. This and Bianca Viso are how you are tributing on your opponent's turn. Then 1 Clown Clan New Face, which during the standby can shuffle 3 crew cards from your graveyard or banishment into the deck and draw a card absolutely necessary to your grind game, to your ability to reset your one-ofs, etc. Importantly, if this card is sent from the graveyard except from the field, you can put it face up on your field, which means if you already have access to Rehearsal, you can grab this instead and then send it for the discard of Flare, just just slapping it on the board. If you tribute summon a monster, you can target other spell traps on the field up to the number tributed and destroy them. I want to talk about Rehearsal specifically because this card just does the whole line. Tribute a monster from your hand or field, add a Bianca Viso and a Clown Crew spell trap from your deck to your hand except Rehearsal. Banish this from your graveyard, ritual summon a Clown Crew from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed its level. This is how you're getting your Mad Plus. Not only does this allow you to go into White Face off of a Flare activation, it also can get a Flare onto the field in a world where you haven't already tributed a ritual monster. For non-engine, we're playing 3 copies of Harmonia, 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Fuelos, 1 Baldrake, 1 Magnuma, 1 Druis Worm, 3 Forbidden Crown, 2 Fallen the Virtuous, a Called by and triple Dominus Spark. That's right, this is a Spark deck. It's all light. In the extra, we've got Linkuriboh Double Devils, which gives you tribute summon to monsters 1,000 attack. When tributed, can shuffle all Xyz back or can set a Clown Crew spell. 2 copies of Clown Clan Diablo, which returns all fusions from the field in the graveyard to the extra deck, or sets a Clown Crew trap, and gives your tribute summoned monsters double piercing. Finally, Meteor, which locks your opponent from interacting with your normal summons, and returns all synchros, or targets a Clown Crew in your graveyard except Meteor and adds it to your hand. Otherwise, we've got Maelong, Wind Pegasus Ad Ignister, Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, Omega, Ending Master Pack Bits, the associated Garnet, Albion, and Nerva, who does perform a tribute function from the extra deck. In the side, we've got triple Winged Dragon of Ra, Sphere Mode, triple Retaliating Sea, double Ghost Ogre, and Snow Rabbit, 2 Droll and Lockbird, a Harpy's Feather Duster, Solemn Judgment, and 3 Solemn Warning. So with that, let's hop into some games. Our first match is up against Branded, and this is exactly where we want to be, playing against a deck that relies on 1 summoning type. Our hand is quite good. We are going to begin with a copy of Poissonnier. That's going to grab us a level 1 ritual. We will grab the Flare, and then afterwards we will activate the Flare in order to grab the Rehearsal. From here, we can pitch a copy of Fuelos, then use Rehearsal to tribute the Poissonnier, triggering its effect, and also grabbing us everything we need. We'll go for Clown Crew Matinee, then fire off the Malar Bisma into an Ash Blossom. Afterwards, we can Matinee in order to get ourselves a copy of Diablo, and Rehearsal to tribute the Diablo for a Flare, triggering the Diablo so we can set a copy of Soiree from our deck. Finally, we'll use the Poissonnier to summon itself, and then we'll make a Linkuriboh, setting a card in passing, activating Matinee to draw 2, and setting up a copy of Bianca Viso for next turn. Our opponent will begin with a copy of Nadir Servant, followed up with the Branded and High Spirits. That's going to grab them Walbaz. We will activate Soiree here. They will Ash Blossom, but we do already have a lot of material on field. Down comes Fallen of the White Dragon. We'll use Soiree to perform a normal. We're going to use it on our Bianca Viso as they go for Ecclesia. We'll go Bianca Viso to draw cards, and then we'll activate the effect of the Flare as CL2. They'll go Called by the Grave, CL3, bring out Fallen of Albaz, CL4. Afterwards, we are going to be able to draw a whole bunch of cards, then Druis Worm away, a copy of Albion from their graveyard. They'll go to the battle phase, main phase, and end phase, and then activate the Dragon that devours the Dogma, activate the Fallen and the Virtuous in order to send our Druis Worm, which we can use to convert into a copy of Walbaz, activate the Titanclad, which we will Ash, and activate the Albion they sent in order to set a copy of Fallen and the Virtuous. Finally, Ecclesia goes back to hand, and we will draw a couple of cards off the Matinee. We'll draw for turn, and time to convert this empty advantage into good advantage. We'll begin with the Concours de Cuisine, then we'll activate the effect of the Poissonnier. They will go for the Fallen and the Virtuous here, targeting their own Fallen of Albaz so they can use Rindbroom to bring it back. Cute, but we will go Called by the Grave in response. As we go to the main phase, we'll activate Linkuriboh in order to tribute off our monster, trigger the effect of the Poissonnier, activate the effect of Matinee to summon out a Diablo, and down comes another Bianca Viso. We'll trigger the effect of the Diablo to shuffle all the fusions back, as well as draw some cards off the Bianca Viso on our way to Flare and Devils. This is just about lethal. We'll target our monster with Poissonnier, go to the battle phase, and hit in for 5, 35, 35, and 7, just barely over the threshold. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, we're playing 21 pieces of non-engine, so I'm hoping a lot. Our opponent is on Doomsy for Game 2, and they're going to begin with a copy of Vidrium into a copy of Doomsy Change. They're going to activate the effect of the Vidrium. Afterwards, they will summon a copy of Power Patron Doomsy, activate its effect in Scale, grab a Zagrado, then scale the Zagrado. Zagrado effect triggers here. They're going to pop this copy of Amaltha, trigger both effects to go ahead and grab a copy of Raiders and a copy of Ilara, which they will normal. Ilara here is going to set a copy of Adrastia. They'll do Power Patron Doomsy in order to rank up into a Deactress, then use Deactress and Change here in order to cycle, then summon the Amalth. Finally, they'll go Graflario into a Spark. That is a pretty powerful Spark for us because banishing it keeps it off of the Raiders line. Instead, they are going to have to go for the Adrastia to cycle it back and the Raiders to pop it in order to grab a copy of Drastia and trigger the Graflario for a Zagrado. They'll go for the Drastia here, targeting the Zagrado, summoning it to their side of the field and setting a copy of Doomdurg and passing back to us. But a Doomdurg and a Dream isn't fantastic. They'll take 5 here. We'll go to the main phase. We'll begin with a copy of Rehearsal, sending this Ash Blossom. Then afterwards, they will Droll and Lockbird into a Called by the Grave. Unfortunate for them because that does kind of win them the game otherwise. We'll go Malar Bisma here, summoning a Meteor and a Devils, and we'll tribute the Devils for our Biancaviso. We will set the spell, even though I really want to tuck back all these monsters, and we'll negate our opponent's monster, which I think they just weren't prepared for. We'll go Matinee afterwards into Diablo, into this copy of a Flare, in order to set a new face before activating Rehearsal in order to tribute out the Flare, trigger the Diablo, and grab us a copy of Soiree as well. We'll go to the battle phase and walk over our opponent's last remaining monster before passing it back to them, and activating Matinee to draw a bajillion cards. Unfortunately, we can only set one, so it's going to be Fallen the Virtuous over Crown. We'll grab this copy of Clown Crew Whiteface as they go imperm on our free normal. Unfortunate for us, but also really fantastic because they just have a Fallen the Virtuous. We can activate the effect of our Soiree here in order to draw a whole bunch of cards, shuffle monsters into the deck, and add a Clown Crew back here. This copy of Malarbisma to set up for next turn. We'll draw two. One's a Harmonia, hilarious. They will set another copy of the Fallen and the Virtuous, and it should just be a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal here. In standby, we'll activate the effect of the new face to shuffle back a whole bunch of monsters and draw a card. We'll go Rehearsal, tribute another Ash Blossom, then afterwards we'll go for a Malarbisma in order to summon a Meteor and a Devils, pumping our monsters. They're going to go for Fallen and the Virtuous, targeting our Devils, but we can still tribute another Biancaviso, triggering the effect of the Meteor in order to cycle back the popped copy of Matinee, and then get in for 25, 25, and 25. Nice Adrastia. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's on What Else But Cool Tune, and they're going first. So they have a Q, and we only have one piece of non-engine, so I like to just fire it off early and hope that they don't have anything else. Of course, it's almost impossible for this deck to brick. They're going to go for the effect of Rotary and the effect of the Q and the effect of the Trackmaker, so now they have perfect information and know they don't have to worry about anything. Because of that, they're going to set this copy of JJ Cooltoon, then normal summon this copy of Rico. Rico's going to grab them a mix. Then the mix is going to convert into a Zaylin and a remix alongside a Cooltoon Synchro. We'll draw for turn. We're going to begin with a copy of Concours de Cuisine. They will remix here, bring back the Rico and the Ash Blossom. As we go for Poissonnier, we'll activate the effect into a Veiler. We should have done this in draw. They're going to go for Rico here for a copy of Clip. Afterwards, we will tribute summon a copy of Biancaviso, which triggers the Poissonnier, but unfortunately, it also triggers the Zaylin, so they will negate and destroy our Biancaviso as we go for Malarbisma into an Ash Blossom. All right, let's just go next. So it's time for game 2, and okay, double Rotary, we can deal with that. We will go ahead and hold A this time, using the effect of Concours de Cuisine as early as possible, and activating the effect of Poissonnier de Nouvelle in order to grab a Flare. We'll go for Malarbisma here into an Ash Blossom, which is not the end of the world, because we get to go to the main phase, activate Flare, and grab ourselves a copy of Rehearsal. We'll activate Rehearsal. Unfortunately, we do have to send the Droll and Lockbird because we need to tribute here while retaining the Flare for the maximum draw combo, but then we'll go for Matinee, grabbing a copy of Diablo, and then activating Rehearsal to bring a ritual to our side of the field. We'll set a trap card, and then afterwards we can activate the effect of the Poissonnier, summon it, and then make a Linkaribo on our way to Biancaviso. We will draw cards here. We will go ahead and shuffle all rituals, and we will set to activating Matinee at end step to draw a whole bunch more, setting a copy of Dominus Spark. Our opponent's going to draw for turn. They're going to activate a copy of Rotary in order to normal itself. We will Spark here in order to banish it. They will chain KTS. We will chain Ash Blossom. They will chain Called by the Grave. Okay, fine, I get it. After Point of Resolution, they're going to be able to grab a Rico and make a copy of Trackmaker. From here, they can activate Trackmaker and Rotary. We'll activate Soiree in response in order to summon some Clown Crews. We'll grab a Flare and a Meteor in order to potentially shuffle back all Synchros. They will grab a copy of JJ Cooltoon, and then we will cycle out a Linkaribo, triggering the effect of the Flare, forcing them onto KTS early in order to make a copy of Loudness War. Still, because it doesn't target, we're able to put it face down as they get rid of our Biancaviso and our Synchro monster. We can Forbidden Crown their Cooltoon Rico, and it looks like they are just about out of stuff. Our Soiree enables us to get a copy of Biancaviso, and we can negate the JJ Cooltoon, which forces the surrender. So it's time for that all-important game 3, and our opponent's going first once again, and it begins with a Rotary. Okay, down comes the Rotary, down comes the mix. We'll Ash Blossom the mix, hoping that that stops it, and of course it doesn't. Duelist Genesis is sufficient to get a copy of Synchro Overtake 1, by the way, in order to special summon out a copy of Rico, activate the effect of the Rico, and grab a Clip to hand. From here, they can make a Trackmaker, trigger the effect of the Trackmaker and the Rotary in order to see the grip and grab a copy of JJ Cooltoon alongside a Q. JJ Cooltoon comes down, as does Q. Q here is going to summon from deck a copy of Ash Blossom Joy Spring to cycle back later on their way to Zaylin, trigger the effect of the Q. Oh my god, and eat our Soiree. We're only on one of those. Okay, remix KTS pass. We'll draw for turn, activate Concours. They'll activate remix, grab back the Ash Blossom and the Rico, unsurprisingly, as we go for a Poissonnier and a Pâtissier Couverture. We're going to activate the effect of our monster as they activate the effect of Rico, and then we'll proceed to the main phase. Maybe we can make this work. We'll go Flare. They will Ash Blossom. All right, maybe we can't make this work. We can tribute off for a Biancaviso to negate, trigger the effect of the Poissonnier. They can use Zaylin. We can use Forbidden Crown. That at least forces through this chain for us. We will negate this copy of JJ Cooltoon. We'll activate Matinee. They'll activate KTS, and all right, time to scoop it up. So we're back with the deck, and, well, we got farther than we thought. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, This engine is really flexible. You can splash the deck into any other deck that doesn't use the extra deck very easily. You have room to play things like Harmonia and Spark. You get to customize it a pretty significant amount. 2, the deck draws so many cards. The 1.5 card line off the Nouvelle Quick Play draws you 8 in total, which means you can look for silver bullets post-board. And 3, the shuffle effect on the clowns, of course, is double-sided. Frequently, decks can't deal with this. You can shuffle an entire graveyard and field of branded fusions away, or all the Mitsu rituals, so it makes the effect hugely threatening to specific styles of decks. And the cons. 1, as nice as it is to draw 8 cards, the deck lacks consistency without the upcoming promotional Pendulum monster. It loses a lot of its ability to kill efficiently without Drish, and without Finale, the deck can't convert duplicate hand traps or engine pieces into more value on the spot, so it feels underwhelming when you draw 2 Ash Blossom or 2 Imperm, having the value of those cards. So Wave 2 and Hat are going to boost the deck. Until then, these are pretty significant issues. 2, getting ashed or ogred by your opponent can completely remove your access to the draws from Matinee, which puts you in a weird spot. Losing out on the draw 4 makes the deck's low ceiling even lower. And 3, we've done it here, but it's really hard to pass up the Vanities playstyle. It's just so boring. Overall, the deck's pieces are there, and you can definitely play it to success as is. It's just really waiting for the second wave to round out everything. So that's that. These videos are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have paid top dollar to be mentioned at the end of this video. Here they are now. First up, Van, followed by hashtag Unban Meowmoo, Absolutely Fran, Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, APK Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Broski TCG, Cap, Cool Name, Dark Rebel XYZ, El Gravo, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, Galactic Joey, Hongo Porongo, Hergalicious, Jackie Z, JP, Cole Offline, Creature, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Master Key 090, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Play Madolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho, Pombo, Pyramid Artisan Field Cloths and TCG Accessories, Rancer My Thing, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Uznik, Yuki Kazami, and Zircon Sun. Couldn't have done it without you.